When I go to your website for your film, Then There Was Joe, I noticed you have a ton of press from your hometown or from surrounding areas, and they seem so welcoming of you. How is that then to know that, yes, when you come to your new home in LA, it's a different ballgame and that it's not personal, but it's just there's so many people doing the same thing. But so to be so embraced and cheered on, and then coming back here knowing that you have to be your own cheerleader, really.
Absolutely, yeah. So what's interesting about, and like this was kind of my strategy actually for making my first film. I wanted to do it in a place where I would be like supported, and because the crazy part is that kind of anywhere outside of LA, outside of California, if you make a movie, like that's newsworthy, you know, because it's just not a normal thing that a lot of people do. But out here in LA, everybody's making a movie. Like it's, and you know, I hate to use the term everybody, but a whole lot of people are making stuff out here to the point where it's relatively normalized. And like for instance, I'm whenever I go to a coffee shop to just get a cup of coffee, if you just look at people's laptops, 9 out of 10 screens, someone's writing a screenplay. And that is like not normal anywhere else, kind of outside of LA. And so it was amazing. We premiered my film, Then There Was Joe, with the Arkansas Cinema Society, which is like put on by Jeff Nichols, who directed Mud and Midnight Special and stuff like that. So it was great because like they saw my film and believed in it, and so they were like, we're gonna put on basically a premiere for it. And there was just a level of excitement that I just haven't experienced kind of anywhere else, because it was a bit of like a hometown hero kind of vibe to it, but also like people just truly went to the movies to enjoy themselves. And I think sometimes out here in LA we can go to the movies to judge. Like that's why we go. Oh yeah. Of like we walk in, we're like, this better impress me. But back home in Arkansas, people like they're just like, it was almost like a magic. Like you walk into this dark room with all these strangers, and it's like, okay, what's gonna happen? And being in that posture, about to watch a film, it's like a totally different vibe. And I think that actually most of the world experiences movies that way, of I want to go and I want to be entertained and I want to be moved and I want to have fun. And sometimes living out here in LA can be easy to lose track of that, because sometimes we can try to just impress our filmmaker friends by like, did you see that dope shot in that thing? That was tight, right? And but like I knew that the film I was making in particular is for like an audience to consume, and it's for people who live lives outside of the entertainment industry. It's about regular people going through what they're doing, and there's redemption at the end. And I know, you know, sometimes like when I'm shooting my scripts to friends or they shoot me, their scripts, like, you know, I think it was like George Lucas or somebody that said like, there's only like 7 plots. There's only 7 plots in the world or something like that. And like, there's some truth to that, I think. Like, but just like how you can kind of only make a car kind of like one way, really, you know? It's like it usually has 4 wheels. It sometimes doesn't have to have 4 wheels. You can make a car with 3 wheels, I'm sure. But like, the reality is that like, I think the majority of people usually will give a movie a chance in ways that sometimes, like after you've gone through film school, you've already decided like, I've already seen this before because I know where this is going, and you're way ahead of the movie. And you know, you can get into that habit and kind of stop enjoying films. And so what making my feature kind of taught me is it helped me remember what movies are for and what they do and what they mean to me. And seeing that in Arkansas was just a beautiful, beautiful experience, and it rejuvenated me, and it made me want to keep going. Because I got really scared after I finished my film because I was so tired, I was so exhausted, that I had a moment where I was like, I don't think I want to do this anymore. Like I think I might be one and done. And something happened when the lights went down and everybody got quiet. And my movie's a comedy drama. It's a dramedy, if you will. But the first couple title cards is a joke. And it takes you a second to get it, because it starts, and then there's another title card, and then another, and then another. And everybody immediately busted out laughing. And I was like, got them. They're in. They get it. They get it. And I showed that to a lot of my friends out here, and they were like, this is dumb.
Oh, gosh.
Really dumb.
Oh, my God.
But I knew it was funny, you know? And so that's another thing it's taught me, this whole process, is just like trusting your voice and knowing that your voice and your opinion of things, how you feel about something, is totally valid. And even if it's standing outside of a group of people and a group of people don't agree, if you feel strongly about something, there's probably at least 1 million other people in the world that feel the same way. And this process, the notes process that we were talking about earlier, also like just helped me know when to trust my voice.
I think you said your family has this unofficial rule. I saw this in one of the interviews that you did. I'm taking this from the paper, but if you're afraid of something that will make you a stronger, better person, that's probably the thing you need to do.
Right.
That's great.
Yeah. Because like I think fear is a really good indicator. It's an indicator of perhaps like your destiny in a weird way. I don't want to get too new agey in here, but
oh wait, let me turn off the incense. Hang on a second. Okay.
But to me, in my brain, I feel like there's a better side of you on the other side of fear, because like things that I'm not afraid of are things usually don't mean that much to me. You know, I'm usually afraid of the things that mean the most to me. You know, I'm like right before we launched the Kickstarter for my film, like I had never experienced that much fear in my whole life, because I was like, oh my gosh, this is public. If I fail, it's going to be public. Everyone's going to know about it. And like I hesitated for a while. And so there was like a week where I didn't post it. And I was like, I don't know if I can do this right now. And like I thankfully, like I have a really supportive family, a really supportive wife. And they were just like, you have to do this. Like you have to. It's your destiny, if you will. And I've noticed that every single time where I've been utterly terrified and I've pushed through it, I've only succeeded. And I don't mean that in like an arrogant way. I mean that in the sense of like I jumped off the cliff and suddenly a trampoline appeared right before I smacked the ground. And that has happened so many times. And I think for anyone who's put together a feature film like you guys, you understand that. You know that like those things happen. You kind of move before any of the pieces are in place, and suddenly magically the pieces are in place. And I now love that feeling. I love sort of jumping off to see like, okay, is something gonna catch me? And 9 times out of 10 it does. And when it doesn't, I'll figure it out. And that's been a recurring theme throughout my whole life. It's just, if you're afraid of it, you have to do it.